Afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. I'm excited to get this topic started. This is our first episode in a webcast series that we've initiated at Tavant, titled Aftermarket Intelligence Unlocked. We're excited to bring this topic to you. It's definitely something that we're hearing a lot across multiple different industries. And in the world of aftermarket and manufacturing. So this is a series that we will be continuing the last Friday of every month. So feel free to join us again in April. And in the following months to come, we'll be bringing in other industry experts to talk about AI and agent type topics that hopefully you'll find relevant and helpful as you go about your business and manufacturing. We'll do a quick introduction and also some housekeeping tips. This is recorded, and we will be sharing the recording with everybody that's signed up for the webinar. So whether you're able to attend for the full thing or want to review it later, we will be sharing that and sending that out. And we also encourage questions. So feel free to use the Q&A button, hopefully at the bottom of your screen. If at any point during the presentation you have questions, we will try to save some time at the end and address as many as we can there. All right. So as I mentioned, this is all about artificial intelligence, to be specific, and agents that have been popping up, in case you haven't noticed, all over the market. So we're going to bring in some topics and hopefully some examples that you'll find relevant for your day-to-day. And to do that, I have my colleague here, Petchiraj. He's the VP of Data and Intelligence at Tavant. He leads our team of data scientists and takes business use cases from myself and others and tries to find some agentic type of solutions. So we'll be hearing from him in a little bit. I myself, Samantha, have been in the industry for a few years, come with a warranty administrative background. So that's where all those business use cases are coming from. And then I just also like to briefly introduce the company, Tavant, and why we're hosting this webcast. So at Tavant, we're specifically dedicated to bringing automation and improvements to the aftermarket experience, whether you're a manufacturer, a distributor, a dealer, supplier, in logistics, in field service. So all of those different areas are areas that we work on and touch and try to find solutions that improve the user experience, improve warranty costs and revenue streams, and work with our customers to find new ideas for all of those areas. All right, so I kind of wanted to bring us back a little bit in history. If anybody recognizes the image on the left, it actually had a formal name, which I did not realize, Clippy. And if you remember when you started back using the initial Microsoft Office products, Clippy would automatically randomly pop up to try and be helpful and work with you to help you save the attachments or add a web link to your document or an image or resize something. And I didn't always find it like very helpful, but maybe others did. And I think he's kind of the original software assistant. And that was Microsoft's goal overall. I watched a little clip about how they implemented him, but it was very script based, very not dynamic. And definitely not machine learning, right? So when I closed it and said, no, this wasn't helpful, it just popped up again 5 minutes later. And so that's what we're trying to avoid as we're looking at agents today and in the future. Obviously, we want something that's going to be actually helpful, reduce the workloads, bring in data and use that information to learn and continuously improve the user experience and the way that it's helping others. And so also just kind of wanted to give a little explanation on what's the difference of AI and AI agents. This was something I was really interested in and had to learn for myself as well, because AI has been popping up for the last few years, specifically around manufacturing. And we're seeing a lot of improvements that it's brought in to the different users. But when agents specifically started popping up, I was like, is this just a humanized form of AI? Are we just putting a face on top of AI that's still just processing data? Because that doesn't really seem helpful. But what's the purpose here? So that we could really start to understand how agents are working for our customers and helping us as well in the software industry and building our products. So just to kind of get everybody on the same page and kick off this webcast series about agents and AI, just wanted to give some real life examples here. So when we think about the smart home options, something as simple as turning lights on and off, opening the garage door, there's an AI brain for realistic terms that's analyzing that you clapped your hands or you gave a voice command, and can recognize basic commands and take and follow through with that action. But when we're talking about an actual agent, we're taking it a step further. We're asking it to start predicting when the temperatures start dropping outside to start increasing the heat inside, or the reverse, start cranking up the AC as summer kicks off. Things like predicting when you've been out of the house and a light's been left on and there's no movement inside. So reducing energy costs and things like that. So it's taking action, but it's also learning and recognizing patterns and acting accordingly without someone having to interrupt and set up that script like we saw with Clippy. The example with the self-driving cars, we're looking at the standard braking notification. If you've got something that's just jumped in front of your car, you're going to get a beeping alert, maybe a vibration in your seat that says, hey, there's something there, you need to take an action. Whereas with the self-autonomous driving, it's taking the action for you. It's recognizing that you've set the speedometer to go 75 and the car in front of you is only going 65. So it's actually checking lanes, seeing if it's safe to switch lanes, and go around the slower vehicle. So it's putting on the blinker, applying the pressure of the gas pedal, and doing a lot of actions for you without having to interact with it to step in. Just some clear explanation of the difference between AI and agents. So for the rest of the introduction here, and to kind of kick off Petchy's piece of this webinar, I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about who we think should be using AI agents and why. What's the benefit that we're seeing out of the ability to have these agents in place when it comes to aftermarket processes. So definitely OEMs, manufacturers, we see a lot of potential when it comes to using agents. I was just reading an article recently. One of the big three automotives are actually implementing this as part of their development and design process. So rather just relying on the heavy clay modeling, that's a slow design and engineering process. They're using AI and digital twin processes to reduce the time to design and stress test their new model. So they can come in, make an adjustment. Instead of having to rebuild the clay model, they just change some inputs into the AI agent, and it's going to run all of those tests and quality processes first for them. So it's just a quicker, faster way to identify a new product and release it to the market, which is definitely obviously going to have an effect down the hill for all of those dealers, distributors having to keep up with that demand and that expectation of new products coming out. And how do they keep up with that knowledge of what the new vehicle is doing? So we see a lot of help coming into dealers and distributors when we're talking about knowledge agents, helping the technician, helping the customer support team member on the phone to quickly answer the question or find the information that they need, and ideally answer questions for them. So we're reducing the workload on the customer support team or tech support team. The same with aftermarket service providers, suppliers, and logistic partners as well. Just looking for ways to boost profitability, find ways to faster send parts, identify the need for parts, and automatically ship them without an order having to be manually placed. So just a few examples there. We're definitely seeing the ability to see new revenue streams as well. This is definitely part of that SaaS model, and being able to have a subscription option with your product that enhances the customer experience with the product. Not something that they have to use it, but just enhancing it if they choose to. So we're going to hand it over to Petchy and actually talk about some real world examples that we're looking at with our customers and the industries we're working in. Hopefully you'll find them relevant, and definitely let us know if you have any questions, and we'll try and get to them at the end. Petchy?
Thank you, Sam. I'm pretty excited about talking about what we are currently working on these agents. So first of all, thanks everybody for joining the call. Right now I wanted to deep dive on the AI agents. So when we talk about AI agents, there are two primary functionalities it brings to the table. One, it comes up with the automation, and it comes also with the orchestrations. So I'm going to go a little bit of detail of what this automation really means and how efficiency really can add value here. So when we talk about automation is not pretty new to the industry. I mean, we've been seeing automations in the past with business rules and complex process which inputs business rules and assembly lines are getting automated in the past. The way the AI agent really works, it really understands the context of how it can really look at the input, and it can take an action on its own with a lesser human input. So that's what it makes really different. So just to give you some examples, when it comes to a dealer assist agent, this is something we've been working on, and we've been talking to a lot of our customers on these use cases. The primary business problem here is most of the time, the warranty claims and the interactions between OEM is all manual process. It requires a lot of effort, and it creates inefficiencies of the data. The quality of the data that are coming from dealers are really poor most of the time. That's where the agents are really coming and trying to help in terms of understanding the work orders, understanding the job request, and understanding what the customer is really complaining about. So starting from the customer complaints and going in understanding what the job card the details that it has, understanding what the technician did the service, and identifying what is the causal part and how much labor that that he did, and update the claims or create those claims accordingly. So it's not simply a chat bot over a period of time. What we are seeing as an agent is not a chat bot. This is more of a chat bot, and it can understand the context. It can automate a lot of manual tasks that I just talked about it earlier. So in this case, what we are really seeing here is an agent can extract information from images, extract information from the PDF, like your invoices and additional parts information that you put in, and in fact, field reports. It can extract that information, and it can verify whether the labor hours that was spent for this particular job it's accurate, and then the causal part that is highlighted here, it's accurate. And it can also add the customer complaints, because most of the times the claim system and warranty system may or may not have a lot of customer complaints. I'm sure we have the repair narratives, but we would get the customer complaints along with this, and then validate whether it is an incoming claim can get adjudicated by the OEM, by the rules and by the policies that set by the OEM. And it can give a confidence to the dealers. So that's the dealer assist agent. And not only, just claim entry process, it can also interact with, so for example, when a dealer is asking, hey, I need to update my labor hours, or I need to, help my chargeback rules, why my OEM is, coming back and, not approving my claims. These agents can provide additional inputs to the OEM. At the same time, it can also represent and it can summarize why your claim cannot get approved, why your claim can get approved faster. And at the same time, the automation part, the warranty processors, on the other side, which we are going to talk about, the AI adjudicator, warranty processors are taking more time to analyze some of those claims, which are not meeting their existing business rules criteria. They need to ask additional information. Why did they spend more labor hours? Or they need to open an attachment and understand what is the information that is available here. So that's where they take more time and trying to get additional informations. And sometimes the warranty processor lacks the product knowledge and then the warranty policy knowledge. So the adjudicator can understand, the AI adjudicator can understand everything what we're talking about, and it can adjudicate those claims. What we call them is a digital workspace or digital workforce. This is It is not really trying to replace the existing human or existing workforce that we already have. This is more empowering the existing human workforce in terms of adding additional inputs and additional insights to the human. So it's more of a collaboration engine. That's what I think we need to keep in the loop. When we design these agents, we keep human in the loop. We wanted to get and share informations to the human, like in this case, dealers, technicians, and warranty processors and the quality team. We wanted to share these informations to them and get feedback from them as an agent, and then act accordingly. That's an additional validations on exception cases that can be done and automated. When it comes to pricing is another very fantastic topic in terms of improving revenues from a parts price as well as service contract price. The agents are playing a major role in terms of personalizing the pricing contracts, creating a dynamic price. It can understand the product usage, it can understand the customer experiences, it can segment the customers automatically, and it in fact can verify what the competitor prices are when you have the competitor data, and provide a dynamic pricing for the customers to start buying this. At the same time, the agents also can really help in the sales cycle, providing additional context about what the contract is all about, and trying to sell this contract more. So that can add value and that can add additional revenues to the OEMs. So that's more of an automation perspective. And then when it comes to orchestration really talks about orchestrating the end-to-end data from a service lifecycle standpoint. The moment the product ships from the dealers to a customer, how do we really track these till it goes to scrap? When it comes to operations and optimization and efficiency standpoint, the field service technicians, are even before that, when a customer is complaining about their issues, how do we capture those issues? How do we reduce the touch points to create the work orders? And how do we provide insights? How do we provide the knowledge to the junior technicians when the existing issues that got solved? And with power of additional AI agents, you have an ability to extract informations from the unstructured data that what you have. So that can clearly call out and provide efficiencies and productivities for your workforce. That again, keeping human in the loop. Now, I briefly touched upon the revenue generating opportunities, the parts optimization and service contract price. Agents also can play a role in terms of identifying the upsell opportunities and cross-sell opportunities. And the last point, which is talking about the aftermarket data as a product. And a lot of our customers are, at least from the aftermarket perspective, trying to look at, okay, we have been collecting this IoT data, we have been having field service data, warranty data, and how do we create a product out of this data that what we have, and create as a service, so that we are able to give this data to our customers, and that it can generate a subscription opportunities. So that's something some of our customers are interested in exploring this. So it requires a technical knowledge, and it requires a technical system. I'm going to touch upon that in the next slide. But that is also currently evolving. So most of the time, the service lifecycle business function always looks at as a cost center. We'll try to move from cost center to a profit center by looking at opportunities to see how we can give this data back. That's on the orchestration part. And primarily, it just to summarize on the orchestration, it really can connect to multiple systems, talking from case management to field management, warranties and ERPs and customer support systems. It can connect and it can provide feedback and it can act as a hub for you to
I think Pechi, I think one bullet point I'm missing here is the telematics, the IoT data. So you're talking about connecting systems.
Yes.
It's not just the automotive world that has DTC codes and failure alerts that are happening now. The HVAC systems, all kinds of appliances in the home have those types of warnings and alerts available now. So when we're talking about assisting dealers before the failure even happens, giving them some awareness that an issue might occur, helping the adjudicator with validating, is this warrantable? Did someone not take action even though they were warned multiple times by maybe some sort of IoT alert system to try and avoid the failure, and now there's a warranty claim out there. So yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity when it comes to bringing in all of those systems and connecting them with an agent, so it's not having to be monitored manually by multiple different people that might not even be sitting in the same state, let alone office anymore. So
exactly. And also it can integrate with your existing rule engines and workflows. That's another thing. We are not trying to replace your altogether a new system. What are the investment that you have already made? These agents can talk to your existing rules and technologies. Now, coming into a little bit of technical and the strategy side, we all know that we've been using ChatGPT and the other OpenAI tools which are in the market. It is more than that. The AI agent is not a chatbot, like I said. It's more than that. It brings in additional functionalities like reinforcement learnings. It brings in the graph databases. It brings in the decision trees. Combination of all these three along with an agent to support the accuracy part, and then the guardrails of your data, how secure it is and things like that. And when it comes to humans oversight and continuous improvement, that's where the model accuracy comes into play. There are multiple architectures that are getting evolved around AI agents. When it comes to reactive and hybrid approaches, there are agents to talk about. For example, when it comes to self-service cars, it's more of like a reactive architecture. It immediately sees an action and it takes an action together. And whereas the work planning actions, which is like a hybrid option, which takes into model to continuously improve on where it is and how it is, and it can direct you in terms of where to go, on the self-service autonomous cars. Modern data architecture is, it's a very given thing. When it comes to data, you have to really think about how do you really bring in a distributed computing, distributed processing of your large data volume, including the IoT sensors. And right now, there are tons of data it's available, and you need an engine to process this data. And there are architecture that are available to support this. When it comes to agents, now let's say you have a sales agent and you have a dealer assist agent that we saw in the past, in the previous slide, and you also have an adjudicator agent. Now, the agents can talk to each other and share informations, and then take an actions on behalf of you. So that in itself, it provides a lot more flexibility. When it comes to the lot more flexibility, it also comes with a complexity as well. So there are models and there are technologies around to see how it cannot clash each other, how it can handshake, and how it can interact, and how it needs the human to be intervention when it requires. So those things are available from a technology standpoint, and we cannot forget our the APIs. The APIs are playing a major role in here in terms of sharing information securely, and the memories and the workflows can be all integrated with the technical aspects to this. I'm trying to keep it very high level at this moment in technical, but if at all, if anybody is interested in going in deep dive, there is a technical workshops will get planned towards sometime next month, or feel free to reach out to us. will be sharing some of those technical aspects to this. And the governance and the governance program, wanted to quickly touch upon probably a minute or two. Some of our existing customers and prospects, they're asking, hey, how do we really measure the AI? Or I'm creating a new dashboard. Is that really an AI? How do we really understand the accuracies? So that's where the technology players are coming in, and they'll try to explain in terms of how easy the model can be interpreted and how easy you're able to explain to a business team that your make model is accurate. So as long as you're able to explain that prospect, your ROI can be met. So when I say ROI, so for example, if you talk about efficiency as a one aspect, and if you talk about revenue generation as a second aspect, how much time your model can accurately predict on what your use cases are, and how much time you're able to really save, and how much you're able to quantify this. Just try to keep it simple frameworks. And we have also come up with an evaluation framework in terms of there are a bunch of metrics that we have in terms of your accuracies, in terms of your ROI numbers, performances, scalabilities. There are some benchmark things that we have, and we are happy to share that information to you all in terms of how do we really evaluate from pilots and the results. Then the last one is we all have legacy products, and this AI wave is coming to us. We really want to balance between these two. We certainly wanted to try this out, and that's where the framework for evaluating pilots come and really help. Certainly, we also need to focus on the data management, data quality related aspects, and automations in terms of your data, and bringing this data into a larger, and trying to bring in a closer loop of how does this really works. So that's where the governance and strategy really comes in play when it comes to AI. That's what I just wanted to share this. And like I said, I'm happy to take questions now or later time, and try to provide you as much as insights what I know.
Yeah, actually, Pechi, we do have a question that's very specific to this slide as far as data and data governance. So I'm just going to try and summarize it, and maybe you can. I think you've kind of touched on different points already, but maybe we can kind of specifically give a response here. It's just basically saying. There's a lot of assumption around OEMs and dealers having mature data, but what if there's a manufacturer out there that does not have mature data, that there's no data governance or overarching data strategy in place yet. The data might even be held offline or multiple systems with no single source of truth. With that kind of non-data governance structure, how can any ML model produce meaningful action?
That's a great question, and we come across this question most of the time. That's where we have to start somewhere, and the best way to start is take the data what you have and slowly augment the additional data sources and start coming up with the KPI and metrics that can provide values for your organizations. So just for your example, let's say if you are asking this question from a warranty department, I'm sure you may have data related to warranty claims, but you may not have data related to your field, or you may not have data related to your IoT data. So let's start producing the results in terms of warranty data, and how do I automate my warranty claims? How do I help my dealers in terms of providing this just related to warranty, and slowly start producing those results while your data engineering team or other team can start bringing in the other data sources into this. Just try to make sure that your architecture is scalable and you have a room for trial and error. That's all I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key point here is that it doesn't have to be structured data when it comes to AI today.
One of the primary tasks is while anybody is working on AI, they'll try to organize this data. They'll try to put the right quality data in place, so that what it goes in what it comes out. So they'll try to correct it, and they'll try to work with the SME to make sure that they identify and put the right data in structure that way.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have talked to my share of suppliers in the manufacturing industry, and I know they're constantly trying to figure out how to manage claims coming in several different formats in different ways at different times, and then trying to manage all of them individually. So I think AI is a great tool that can kind of just consume all of that information, format it accordingly, and then just start, like you said, reviewing claim data, making suggestions, or even processing claims automatically for that supplier. So,
And
all right, well, we are out of time. I just wanted to say thank you for joining us. I hope you join us again in April, potentially for some field service topics, as we will be attending the field service conference coming up very soon. So thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed our conversation today about AI agents and how we see them helping dealers, helping claim adjudicators, and even coming up with best parts pricing for your aftermarket parts. And like I said, we'll be sending out a recording of this for everyone that was able to join and wasn't able to join. So we look forward to seeing you all again in April.
thank you, everybody.